Some people called the exit of Greece a great success and the programme a success, and I don't think you can say that. The programme was very long, very hard, with many failures. Yet it's very good news, of course, that they are now on their own again. A lot of work still needs to be done. It requires responsible politicians. And I'm worried about the run-up to the election next year. I can already see a lot of politicians in Greece, again, promising things which they really can't afford.
When Greece was going through that crisis, how often were you putting yourself in the position of the Greeks themselves? I mean, what was your sort of head telling you over your heart?
It actually made me very angry to think of the consequences for, let's say, the normal Greek people that were in a very hard situation. If you think of the risks that Greek politicians, first of all, took in the years before the crisis, I mean, these were the good years. And in the good years, their deficit ran up to minus 15%, their sovereign debt exploded to 120%. Then we saved the banks at the cost of the Greek taxpayer, and the economy took another hit. So it's a very tragic situation.
Do you regret saying those remarks?
Well,
you were called racist and xenophobic.
Yeah. Well, let's ignore those comments.
But do you regret making those remarks?
I think the key remark I made was that you cannot have a community, and the Eurozone is a community, if you just want the solidarity but not the responsibility, if you just want to take out but not apply the rules and the regulations that we have agreed among ourselves. And that has nothing to do with criticism on one country or a group of countries. This is also true for the Netherlands.
Do you regret saying those words?
The words, of course, raise a lot of criticism.
But do you regret saying them?
Drink and women. I would have rephrased it had I the opportunity again, but the principle behind it, I very much stand behind that.
As Brussels and London try to close in on this very elusive Brexit deal, if you were sat around that negotiating table with Dominic Raab and Michel Barnier in Brussels, what would you be saying to them?
Let's minimize damage. That's the best we can do at the moment. And I think we need to prepare for some really bad scenarios.
Do you think there will be a deal?
I'm an optimist, so I still think it's possible. But there will have to be some red lines crossed. And the big question is political stability.
What's the answer to the Irish border issue, do you think?
Well, in my mind, the solution to all of this would be for the UK to stay within the customs union, to pay in some contribution to the EU budget, to accept some powers of the European Court of Justice, to accept migration of EU citizens in and out of the UK. That would solve the Irish border question. Whether that fulfills the expectations of the hard Brexiteers, that is, of course, the big question, and probably the answer is no. The time to make these tough decisions is coming very, very close.
There's going to be a shift in